brain rot.
Oh.
So about brain rot real quick. I just want to cover this real quick because I had like a 10-minute back and forth with my brothers about this. So for context, I'm 23 years old, big grown adult. I have a brother that is 19. I have a don't nod your head. I have a brother that is 13. So we're all pretty chronically online. We're okay. You might be like, wait, really? What? That's funny coming as a surprise.
I had no idea. It makes no sense that you're online that long,
and
especially because you're working in a marketing agency.
and we're on TikTok so much that like we just say some random references that I think a normal human would not get.
I've been saying,
Like,
I've only come around to saying slay in the last like month or two.
yeah.
And I was texting my mum the other day.
No.
And she was like, "You coming for dinner?" And I was like, "Slay." And she was like, "What is a slay?"
Yeah.
It was so embarrassing.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think this, according to some website, brain rot was actually the word of the year last year.
I'm not surprised.
Which was insane. Like, out of every word in the dictionary, I think they added it to the dictionary as well. It sounded like brain dash rot. And, yeah, so I think that brands should tap into brain rot. I think it's the way to go. I think that, like,
How do you tap into brain rot?
you just need to have like a chronically online intern on your team and just reference them in comments, reference them within your content. I think the biggest thing that's blowing up right now is like funny moments or like corny moments over the internet, is whether it be now or from like 5-10 years ago, that people are like recreating.
I love that.
And so the recreations are so much more funnier than the actual thing.
Oh yeah, totally.
And it's all just like I think it just taps into the idea of like a parody.
Mm.
And I think that's why parodies were such a big... I used to be so in love
Vines
with
was so
parodies.
good.
Parodies are the best thing ever.
Oh yeah.
And it's basically, you're like, getting something that happened, and then you're just like adding like a funny twist to it, or like a satirical twist to it. So like one of the most recent ones is, do you know the rapper XXXTentacion?
Yeah.
So he's a rapper that passed away, and he recently has been trending for like some of his interview clips and stuff from back in the day.
Yeah.
And one of them is really corny, and he's getting interviewed. Obviously, he's like 17 at the time, and this interviewer asks him off camera, "What's your relationship with your father?" And he goes like, "What's that? What's a father?" And then just like,
Deadpans.
and people are taking that and running with it, and it's always
So
like
good.
people recreating it and stuff. Yeah. And I think that like the best example of that, not that specific example, but the best example of like brain rot is Duolingo. If I'm a brand, I look at what Duolingo does and I copy it to a T.
Duolingo's insane. How is that like one of the biggest brands on TikTok?
Yeah, it's crazy. One of the biggest brands on TikTok, so by extension on the internet, is a app for translations. Like that shouldn't be the case.
No.
That shouldn't they're not supposed to be in the position they are.
No.
But just because of how brain rot they are.
They are.
So yeah, I mean, dude.
So brain rot.
And I think it's really hard for people to tap into it. I think like the cool thing about brain rot is that it's like an exclusive community. It's like, like the appeal or the allure of it. Exactly. It's like if you know, you know.
Yeah.
And if you don't know it, then.
And then you have to explain it to people.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that's the hard
Siebes.
part. So it's funnier if somebody gets it.
Yeah.
That one person gets it in the room out of 20 people, and that's so much more rewarding than like knowing like a very mainstream reference.
I wonder what our vocabulary is going to be like when we're in 40s and 50s. It's just going to be like slay, Siebes.
Vibe is like
vibe.
Vibe is like
vibe is like vibe.
Vibe is like formal. Vibe is like a I don't know.
You're such a vibe.
Yeah. Or like, oh, I'm on a cool vibe right now. Yeah. What are some low key?
Low key.
Low key.
Yeah, explaining this to like your grandparents or your parents is like
they might as well have a stroke.
Facts.
God forbid.